Hollow Manor was famous, but for all the wrong reasons. The local legends, the whispers passed down from generation to generation, all said the same thing. They said if you laughed too loud inside its decaying walls, the shadows would answer. I never believed it, of course. It sounded like the kind of story you tell kids to keep them from trespassing. Just another ghost tale to spook tourists, until the night my friends dared me to go in. It was one of those stupid, adrenaline-fueled dares born from late-night boredom. I couldn't back down, so there I stood, at the edge of the property, staring up at the skeletal silhouette of the manor against a bruised, twilight sky. The gate was broken, hanging off one hinge. As I pushed it open, it didn't just creak. It groaned, a deep, metallic sound like it had teeth grinding against each other. The fog was impossibly thick, hugging the ground and coiling around my ankles like it wanted to swallow me whole. Each step felt like I was wading through a cold, silent river. Once I was inside, the air changed. It was heavy, thick with the smell of wet, decaying wood, the musty scent of old books left to rot, and something else. Something metallic and vaguely sweet, like overripe fruit left in the sun too long. It was the smell of something rotten. I fumbled for my flashlight, my hands slick with a nervous sweat. I switched it on. A weak beam of light cut through the oppressive darkness, catching dust motes dancing in the air like tiny, dead insects. It flickered once, twice, and then, with a final, pathetic sizzle, it went out. I was plunged back into near-total darkness, and that's when I heard it. A voice, a dry, rustling whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It slithered right into my ear. Finally, someone who can play. I froze, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I wasn't alone. He spun around my eyes desperately, trying to pierce the gloom. No one was there. The grand foyer was empty, filled only with the ghosts of forgotten furniture covered in white sheets. Yet the laughter started. It wasn't human laughter. It certainly wasn't the laughter of a child. This was something else entirely. It was deep, hollow, and seemed to vibrate from the very walls of the house. A sound that didn't have a source. Panic took over. I ran. I didn't care where. I just had to get away from that sound. I bolted for the grand staircase, my feet pounding on the threadbare runner. Every door I passed on the landing slammed shut behind me, one after another, a percussive series of bangs that echoed my own frantic heartbeat. Bam. Bam. B-A-M. It was like the house was sealing me in. Then, from a room with its door slightly ajar, a sliver of moonlight illuminated the most unsettling sight. Shadows. Shadows dancing wildly on the far wall, their forms twisting and contorting, but there were no bodies to cast them. They were independent, moving with a life of their own, their mouths stretching wider and wider into impossible, silent screams. I stumbled back, fumbling with my flashlight again, smacking it against my palm. Miraculously, it flickered back to life, its beam weak but steady. And the first thing that beam caught was a mirror, a large, ornate, gold-framed mirror at the end of the hall. I saw my reflection, pale and terrified, and then I saw my reflection laughing. A wide, manic, silent laugh. But my own face was a mask of terror. I wasn't smiling. I wasn't making a sound. Before I could process it, a hand reached out. From the mirror, a long, shadowy limb that wasn't a reflection. It grabbed my shirt and pulled. The world dissolved into a sickening lurch. I was falling, tumbling through the cold, silver surface of the glass, into a hallway I had never seen. It was an endless corridor. Doors lined both walls, hundreds of them, all identical. Disoriented and desperate, I threw one open. It led to the exact same hallway. I was standing where I just was. I tried another door. Same result. And another. And another. They all opened back into the same impossible loop. You're mine now, the walls whispered, the voice no longer coming from one place, but from the wood grain, the peeling wallpaper, the very air around me. I ran. I just ran, blindly, my breath tearing at my lungs. But my terror was a source of entertainment. The floorboards didn't just creak under my weight. They groaned in what sounded like deep, guttural amusement. Above me, the massive crystal chandelier began to swing violently, back and forth, its glass pendants slicing through the air like a giant, toothy maw. I scrambled for a window, clawing at the frame, hoping to smash it, to escape. But my fingers met cold, solid stone. The window was fake. It was just a painting of a night sky on a solid wall. No escape. Then I heard it. My friends' voices, calling my name. Alex, Alex, where are you? But their calls were punctuated by laughter. The same hollow laughter from the walls. Join us. Join us. I peered down the long hallway, and I saw them. Figures standing in the distance, their forms wavering. As I got closer, I could see their faces. It was my friends, but they were made of shadow, their features distorted, their mouths stretched in those same silent, endless laughs. They were already a part of the manor. Trapped at that moment. A new horror began. Every shadow in the house, including my own, started mimicking me. My shadow didn't just follow me. It copied my terror, its dark form on the wall. Trembling as I trembled, its silent mouth gaping as I gasped for air. It mirrored my every step, my every breath. I tried to hide, squeezing myself into a corner, trying to make myself small, but it found me anyway. My own shadow detached from the wall and slid across the floor towards me. The walls themselves seemed to lean closer, the space shrinking, the whispers turning into a chorus of screams. Forever, forever, forever. The sound was overwhelming, a physical force pressing in on me. And then, just as I thought my mind would break, a sudden, deafening silence. I dared to open my eyes. I looked up, and there, on the ceiling, the shadows were crawling. Dozens of team humanoid figures, scuttling and crawling upside down like spiders, their long limbs skittering across the plaster. I opened my mouth to scream, a raw, primal sound of pure horror. But the scream didn't come out. It didn't echo. It felt like it was caught in my throat, swallowed by the suffocating silence of the house. And then I saw it, something so bizarre, so out of place, that it was the most terrifying thing of all. The grand piano in the corner of the grand foyer, its keys yellowed with age, began to play by itself. It wasn't a melody. The notes were deliberate, forming a discordant tune that slowly spelled out a message. You laughed first. Now it's our turn. The laughter returned. Hollow, deep, endless. And this time, it wasn't just around me. It was inside me, a phantom vibration in my own chest, a hollow echo in my skull. I was laughing with them, but my body was rigid with fear. The world spun, the crawling shadows, the laughing reflections, the impossible piano, all blurring into one nightmare vortex. I blacked out. When I woke, I was outside, lying on the damp grass, the morning dew soaking my clothes. The iron gate swung gently in the fog, which was now thin and wispy. The manor was gone. There was just an empty, overgrown plot of land where it had stood. It was as if it had never been there at all. But it's not over. At night, when my house is quiet, I hear it. Faint laughter, coming from the dark corners of my room. Sometimes, when I pass a window or a mirror, I see it for a split second. My reflection playing the memory back at me, its mouth stretched in a silent, hollow laugh. Hollow Manor waits, and it remembers every laugh. Don't laugh too loud, or it laughs back forever.